last chapters, third grade of the fourth grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. Chapters 13 and 14 today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. If you remember from chapter 12, it ended with Suds telling his mom he had a confession. And if you remember back to the chapters that we read yesterday, Joey got in a little bit of trouble. How many of you have ever had a time where maybe you weren't behaving properly, but your mom didn't say or dad didn't say anything until after everybody left, and then you got in trouble? Same thing happened to Joey. So chapter 13, confession. You can see Suds and his mom there. If I can get the book ready there. There you go. Suds and his mom right there. Chapter 13. My mother turned. Her eyebrows went up. That's so? Yeah, I said. Maybe Joey did sort of push me, but the last couple of days it was all on my own. She sat on the edge of the sofa. I see. Anything else? Confession is good for the soul, you know. Well, there was another person in it, sort of. I see. She crossed her legs and folded her arms. A girl. She nodded. She thought. Would her initials be JB by any chance? I was shocked. How do you know? You've been in love with Judy Billings since first grade. How did she know that? Well, I said something happened with her, and I guess I went a little crazy. I see. Well, anyway, I think I'm through with her. My mom nodded. I imagine she'll survive. She sat back in the sofa. She just smiled at me for a while. Mom? Yes? There's more. Is there? Yeah. You know, when I was a rat there, before you went up the tree? Yeah. Well, I mean, I was really a rat. You wouldn't believe it. No? I took stuff from little kids. I pushed them off swings. I got a detention at school because I wouldn't stop laughing. I rang doorbells. A regular rip snorter. Yeah. And Mom? Yes. It was me that took all the Klondike bars. Her eyebrows shot up. Every one of them? Yeah, totally. She shook her head. She was dumbfounded. I'm afraid to ask if there's anything else. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, there was something else. Something still stuck inside me. What was it? I didn't know. I can't think of anything else, I told her. She reached out and took my hand and squeezed it. Well, rat or no rat, your mom still loves you. There! Mom, I now know something else. When I was being a rat, I thought I was having a great time. But I wasn't. I was having a rotten time. I thought of the faces of the little kids that I had pushed around. It's like the other kids thought I was a big deal or something. But I didn't like myself, Mom. My lip was quivering. It was no fun being a rat. My mom's face was blurry as she came toward me and pulled me to her. We stayed like that for a long time. I heard her sniffling. After a while, she said, Remember when you said being a rat was the first step to becoming a man? Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, it's kind of funny. As soon as you stopped trying to be a man, you became one. In a nice little way, I might add. How's that? Your confession there, taking blame on yourself, admitting that you were wrong. That's grown-up stuff. Really? She hugged me. Really? Well, I said, from now on, I'm just going to be a kid. That's enough. She laughed. That's plenty. Suddenly I remembered. Winky! I bolted out the back door. I searched the yard. Nothing. I tore the lids off the trash cans. Nothing. Gone. No! My mother's voice came from the doorway. We thought you might change your mind. I stared at her finger which was pointing upstairs. I dashed past her up the stairs into my room, and there he was. my one-eyed teddy bear sitting on my pillow. Chapter 14, Me and My Dad. I guess I should mention one thing to wrap up the story. It was a couple of days later, a Saturday, my dad's day off. I came back from playing outside and saw him in front of the VCR. I asked what he was watching. E.T., he said, only he didn't say it regular. His voice sounded funny. These pages are sticky. I came into the room and I looked at the screen. E.T. was on the table, all white. I looked at my father, at his face. His eyes were glassy, his cheeks were wet. He was crying. Dad, I said. He pulled out a hanky and blew his nose. He chuckled. Every time that little guy dies, I bawl like a baby. I climbed onto his lap. I hadn't done that for a long time. I nestled into him. Don't sweat it, Dad, I told him. I do too. And that is the end of the 4th grade rats. I think Suds learned a really important lesson in this book, 3rd grade. What do you think that important lesson was?